you know, what we have all
Hey
come
YouTube,
together to.
welcome back. This is Sonia for another episode of, well, I don't even know what we've got today. Okay, there's a whole lot of stuff been going on with Adventures with Purpose. And if you're up to speed so far, a letter, was it yesterday? Or an email, sorry, was released or found on Reddit. And it was the cousin of Jared, the face of AWP, or who we've come to know as the face of AWP, Adventures with Purpose. And she's releasing emails between her and him, Jared, because she decided to confront him. He's a SA abuser, allegedly. And in those emails, he admits, confesses, and doesn't deny the allegations that she puts towards him. He also goes on to explain that his family know, his relatives know, the people at AWP know, because the email account that he's using is actually Adventures with Purpose's own email account. And he goes on to saying there, these aren't filtered, they don't just come directly to me, everybody else on the team can see these, I'm not hiding anything. So he's carrying on the layers and layers and layers of gaslighting to try and minimize what he's done and normalize it and make her seem like her reaction is outrageous and over the top and she's being the drama queen. So it's just a classic narcissistic bullshit, basically, okay? So he's in the middle of being exposed, and I am over the moon about that, because that guy, from the moment he bloody appeared on Zav's panel, and that charm, their narcissism, their psychopathy, their histrionics, their BPD, their antisocial personality disorder, it all leaks out in the same behaviours. They can't hold it all in, and that's what I want people to understand. Anyway, he was leaking his out all over the place. And Zav girl, the girl that claims she's all into behavioural science and has a degree in psychology, it all went over her head. It went over everybody's head, to be honest with you, that decided to cover and support AWP's claim at the time of the Kylie Rodney case that this guy had stopped them with a tow truck and told them they need to search here because he had a sighting of who he believed to be Jagger and Kylie together the evening that she passed away, or believed to have passed away. They diverted all of the attention, right, from the victim's family to assassinating, the character assassination on social media. The individuals of Jagger, Sammy Smith, Callie, and there was a few other friends. They stalked these kids, and they were kids. Just because they're 18 doesn't mean they're not a kid, okay? Who woke up on their 18th birthday with the life experience and the reasoning skills of a 30-year-old adult? Nobody. An 18-year-old is a kid. Zav kept arguing, they're not a kid, they're 18, they're of age, all right? To make what she was doing okay, she was zooming in on their graduation a couple of weeks after Kylie was believed to be missing. She harassed that family, in my humble opinion, and the friends of Kylie Rodney through the entire case. It wasn't a case about Kylie. It was about demonizing anybody and everybody that was surrounding her in the hours before her death, all right? And this guy who we're going to look at now, Doug Bishop, he's quite, he's like the second face, if you will, of AWP, the most familiar face that you come to associate with AWP. He's the guy with the beard and the cap. Now, I have my own personal opinion. I have an objective opinion, and I don't even know which one I'm supposed to give, all right? Because I want to be objective, but I have some personal thoughts at the same time. I do find this guy narcissistic, all right? I do. That's just my personal thing. And you can say, oh, Sonia, well, you say everybody's narcissistic. No, I don't. No, I don't. If I notice narcissistic traits and behaviours, that's when I'll say I notice narcissistic traits and behaviours, all right? And for me, this guy, after watching this reaction video, I do feel the same way. I feel like it's fake humility, cold empathy. It's not genuine empathy. There is no horror in this reaction to the news that Jared has been essaying his cousin and his sister and possibly other people that have allegedly come forward also. There is a court date for this month, the end of November, I believe. I can insert some images in while I'm editing this, which I probably will do so that you can see. But his reaction, right, his reaction is what's got me stirred up, because his lack of a reaction has caused me to have a reaction. And while we can't blame other people for our thoughts and feelings and blah, 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 okay, for this, for this one, right, oh my God, it's if you found out your best friend, your boss, somebody that you work side by side with, your families share and spend time together, if you found out that guy was a pedophile, had been sexually assaulting and abusing minors when he was 17 years old, and if you think that shit stopped, when he was 18 or 19, you have another thing coming, pal. All of you have, all right? That's not how this works. You don't have those traits and then you don't. That's not how it works. It's pathological. It's just like, you know, and now I'm going to have to be, you know, and I'm going to have to, and I've got a contract, and, you know, we're binded by contracts. And he just barely says anything. So we're going to go along with this, all right? And you're going to see me flip out, get mad and upset. And the end of it will come to a conclusion. And underneath, you can feel free to share your comments and your thoughts about what you think of this whole entire fucking mess. All right? But I'll tell you something now. We all need to learn the lesson here and now, okay? Because I have been telling people on my channel, whether it's been in comment sections, all right, around the DC for the last nearly 5 years, behaviours and traits matter. They stand out, they ooze out, they tell you things about the person that you're dealing with without them realising it, okay? And case in point, Jared, all right, the slippery charm, the way he was treating that girl on that bloody channel, you're stepping over the line, right? The way he lied, the way he denied saying hello to his hundreds of fans that were in Zav's channel the time that he popped up, right? Oh, hi, I'm just coming in to say thanks for the kind words. Can't stay, terribly busy, ta-da, and off he pops, right? 20 minutes later, Ryan Upchurch is in the chat, then he's on the panel, and the second that guy's up on the panel, who's back in the chat? Link me in capital letters, that's it. No, please, can I have a link? Right, he doesn't know Zav at this point. This is all new, okay? Link me, capitals. The entitled attitude. Oh, now there's someone up there with nearly 4 million subscribers, right? Now you're going to come in and be friendly, slippery, charmy, gross, and you're going to sit on the panel and engage us, all us like mere mortals, are you? All right, like the god that you are. And off he got up there. He was grinning from ear to ear. God, it was gross. I think at some point I might have left. I can't recall. But anyway, that was my first meeting of this guy. Noticing him lying, right? Because there's no way, oh, you're so busy, you can't say hello to all these people that are paying you wages, right? Because I notice a lot of narcissistic channel holders who do that. They'll go in the chat, right? And they want to greet the host because the host is the boss, right? So like, hi, and then like, sorry, I can't see you. I'm driving. I can't say hello. Bye. I can't respond to all of you. There's 10 people, love. All right. I make an effort to say hello to most people when I go in a stream. It's no difficult task, but I don't have an entitled attitude where I think I'm superior and I don't need to not say hello to these mere mortals. Anyway, enough of me. Enough of me. Oh, I'm just so, I don't want to say triggered, but I am. I admit it. So here we go. This is Doug, everybody.
And now what has happened 30 years ago.
Oh, hang on. We're not quite at the beginning.
Everybody wants to know how I feel.
Yeah, we do. Let us know, Doug. Let us know. We're dying to know, actually.
The voice of our purpose, you know.
What was that?
Everybody wants to know how I feel right now. You know, I have become the voice of our purpose, you know. Well, we have all come together.
I have become the voice of our purpose. Here we are already with the grandiose signs. Are you paying attention? Grandiose signs. I am now the voice of our purpose. What the fuck are you on about, pal? You've just found out your friend's a pedophile. Hello? No one gives a fuck about your purpose.
And now what has happened 30 years ago has come.
30 years ago is irrelevant. You just found out your friend's a pedophile. I'm staring at this guy on the screen, by the way. I'm not going totally mental. You've just found out your friend's a pedophile and you're talking about 30 years ago. What the fuck? The guy's got kids. Have you not got kids? Is there not other kids in the family that he's been around? And they've all got this brainwashing idea that it's just normalised and minimised and completely fine, right? Cover it up. Protect the person perpetrating the crime and pretend it never happened. Invalidate the victim. Hello? Why have I got more anger than him and this guy Jared isn't even my friend?
To light, and it's affecting everybody involved with this.
Is it?
There are
Is
contracts in place.
Are there?
There's legal ramifications.
There's There's legal ramifications and contracts in place. Do those contracts stop you, Doug, calling your friend a freak or disowning him publicly? And it's just going to be business related from now on, and I'm going to cut the fuck out ASAP from AWP. Huh? Where's any of that? Where's any of that? And all in the background, I see this grandiose house with every tiny item in perfect tiny detail, strategically placed, right? He's all perfectly groomed, beard down to his knees, right? The cat's perfectly positioned. He's looking perfect. It's a pose. He's got his vest on. His tattoos are out, right? It's just so grandiose, right? It just, you know, the house in the background reminds me of my house growing up, okay? It was like a perfectionist stage home. And narcissists are prone to that, having these perfectionist style homes where you're not allowed to get too comfy on the sofa because you're going to mess it up in your own home. You're not allowed to make any kind of, I mean, your mum's taking your cup away before you finish your drink, basically. You're trying to finish eating and your mum's taking your thing away to clean it, make it like it never happened, go away. And then obsessed with keeping stuff clean and tidy and perfect looking at all times. It is a behaviour, I'm telling you. And another thing while I'm on that subject, that's a major tell, by the way, from all those channels that are these family style channels, perfectly positioning things at all times with the house and the kids and everybody's in white or everyone's got jeans and a white t-shirt on. Don't you be being manipulated and buying into that as though any of it is real. It is completely fake, mirrored, absolute insanity. And what they put those children through doing that, in my humble opinion, is abuse, and it needs to be stopped. Back to this.
Even speaking my opinion, but in this scenario, I got to keep it real to everybody.
In this scenario, I've got to keep it real. This isn't a scenario, pal. Your friend's possibly going to jail for the rape essay of a child at the time. The scenario. This isn't fucking Neighbours. What is this guy on? There's no passion whatsoever. I bet there'd be passion if I fucking take the £1 million away, though, won't there? We'll see passion then. Yeah, because it's money.
Now,
people don't matter.
What happened 30 years ago has come to light, and
this guy
is affecting everybody involved with this. There are contracts in place. There's legal ramifications. I mean, you know, with me even speaking my opinion. But in this scenario,
there's legal ramifications even with me speaking my opinion. Right. So are you really for telling me that you can't say that this guy's a freak and I'm out of here ASAP, really? You can't say anything, really? Do you know what? I'd tell that fucking guy to stick his contract up his fucking arse. That guy's broke his side of the contract already by abusing kids and having this bullshit come out, right? Your contract's already mute and void. All right, you can say what you want.
I got to keep it real to everybody who loved Adventures with Purpose, who loves Adventures with Purpose.
Loved Adventures with Purpose. No, who were manipulated into buying into Adventures with Purpose and the idea, the manipulation that they were presented with, all right? Okay, because all of that bullshit about being non-profit, you only have to know that Jared has got 2 homes, right? And what's he doing every other week? Asking for money for tow trucks and shit, and bleeding on the bloody, we're on the poverty line over here, guys. Can you send us some money? And we already know all this because we've spoken to Sam, all right? Somebody authentic, genuine, and honest, all right? You want to donate your money, AWP fans, you go and find that guy and help him out, all right? Not a narc. But no, you won't do that because you see, people that aren't narcs, they struggle to sell themselves appropriately and push themselves towards success. They do struggle. Narcissists have no trouble. That's why a lot of them are successful on social media, because they don't give a fuck about nothing and they don't care whose toes they step on. All right, they don't care whose necks they break to get to the top. Whereas people like us with empathy, we're shy. Do you know what they say? The stupidest person in the room always thinks they're the most intelligent, and the most intelligent person in the room is always feeling like they don't know anything. Okay, that's what it's kind of like with a narcissist. They don't know nothing, right? But they'll break necks to get there and sell themselves as though they do, right? And people believe them. They believe them.
Who loves what we were able to accomplish in this world. We've proven that what we have done works, it's effective, it's a need for it. You know, we tell people stories. We are the voice for the voiceless. When we are covering these...
We're all the voice for the voiceless, all right? We're the voice for the voiceless. No, you're not. Look, right? Oh, God, I don't even know how to explain it. You're not the voice for the voiceless, all right? I hate it when people apply terms to themselves. We are the voice for the voiceless. It's not something... It's like when people say... no, I can't use that term. What could I use? It's like they apply these terms to themselves and they're not them. It's not for you to say, I'm a voice for the voiceless, right? That's what people that you've rescued or helped, they tend to say those things. They're like a voice for the voiceless. They were my voice when I didn't have one. But to hear someone represent themselves using those words, it's narcissistic. You're not the entire voice for the voiceless. No, you're not. No, you're not. You get paid for what you do. They are no different to firemen, police, nurses, cleaners, teachers, whatever. All those people, right? People that work in the prison, people that work with bloody, dangerous people, anything that where there might be a risk to your life or a risk to your physical state, right? You decide to take that job on. And while you are heroic to the rest of us, because you are, if you're a nurse, if you're a copper, I couldn't do that job. If you're a prison officer, I couldn't do that job. But I could sit with somebody that was, that had Alzheimer's, or if they were in the last stages of their life. I've done that kind of a job. But whereas like doing, I don't know, being the police or like having to burst into a house that was on flames, I'm not that fearless, all right? So I do think the work is heroic, okay, but at the same time, you decide to do that job because it's like within you to want to do it. You're drawn to that what is it? You're drawn to that area of employment kind of thing, okay. These guys, they get paid, all right? They're not doing it for free. They're not like some bloody... yeah, they might do it to families for free. Go over and say, oh, do you want us to look? But they're getting paid. Remember that. They're getting paid for what they do. Okay, when I travelled to Syria or when I went to Calais and we took aid, I mean, everything came out of our own pockets. We didn't ask people to help us pay for that, like you see Bullhorn Betty and all these tragedy pimps do. We used our own money to do that. We were out of pocket and we were happy to be out of pocket because that's what doing humanitarian work is, all right? And while you can't sustain yourself doing that long term, as I found out constantly, I've got a family and I'm a single parent, I can't keep racketing up money to saving money because you need it always for something else, as a birthday, Christmas, whatever, need going back to school, need new jackets, need new shoes, want new trainers, Nike this, Adidas that, all the rest of it. I can't maintain it as a single parent. But I'm just sick of the exploitation of it all, and then putting a label on it as though that you're heroes. You leave it to other people to call you the hero. Who fucking calls themselves voice for the voiceless?
Stories and going into their homes and representing them and telling their story of their missing loved ones. That's what it is we do. Do nothing else.
I might have to pause because I think my
and I'm not just speaking for me, because I'm not the only one that's involved in this. There are other people's lives who are affected by this, and that's what this is about.
Yeah, other people's lives are affected by this, and no joke, I can appreciate how life-changing and just soul-destroying it must be to find out that the person you spent all this time with doing all these great things that you believed was a good person, even though I believe they will have seen signs, red flags, toxic behaviours and traits and all kinds of other things, manipulation, blow-ups, him being greedy, cutting corners and shit like that, moody, spiteful, critical. You never know which version of Jared you're going to get, because you're not telling me nobody goes from saint to demon overnight with no signs of it. Nobody. It will have been leaking out. And while he said, what did he say then actually? Hang on, just let me pause.
Real is all you can be. And
we're back.
Everybody's got a story to tell. Everyone. Absolutely.
I don't know how we get to this.
Yeah. And being real is all you can be. That's all you got in this world is what you stand for and how you come up. Yeah, you know, done a lot of good in this world, and everybody's got a story to tell. Everyone, absolutely everybody.
What is this? What is this? It sounds like sheer word salad to me. Everybody's got a story to tell, and it's what you've come up from. And I live by a code.
He has a story to tell.
What?
You know, where I come from, though, there's codes. Where I go from here, you know, I have a lot of support, and I love everybody who's reaching out and just telling me and letting me know that I have your support, and that you stand with me.
And you know something? They will be doing. They will be reaching out to him and telling him how much they love him, just the same way they did when they spotted Jared up on Zav's panel. Nobody took a breath, put their brain in gear, took back a hold and control of their emotions and used logic to discern this person, this new person in front of them. They just let the feelings run away with them. Straight away they're forming emotional connections. This person is a good person, they're a hero, therefore they're perfect. And then they have like a rationalization spiral. And what I mean by that is they're not critical where they need to be, okay? And what happens when you're not critical where you need to be and you put your blinkers on? When red flags show up, you have a rationalization spiral, which means your rationalization spirals down. You lose track of having any skill whatsoever to rationalize. Hang on a minute, hold on, there's a red flag, we need to pay attention to it. What does it mean? No, we're going to spiral rationally, right? Because we've already love bombed this person, formed an emotional connection, so we don't care about the red flag. We've already decided this person is good. And that's the problem. You decide too early that somebody is good. You shouldn't be deciding anybody's good or bad, all right? You should be just seeing how things go along the way and paying attention. That's it. You don't need to deem somebody good. You can deem them trustworthy to get to know, or decide you want to get to know them, but putting this label on people in your own personal space of where you move around, either online or in real life, determining that somebody is good, be rational about that. How can you determine somebody is good? Have you seen them at home with their children? Have you been a fly on the wall? Do you know what they're like at work? Do you know what they're like with their other friends? Do you know any of their history? Do you know what they were like around the family? Do you know anything? Do you know what they're like with their animals in private? You don't know anything. So how are you determining people are good? How? Because they come on a channel on YouTube where you get to show a mask to everybody and only show the side of yourself, your best side, the side you want people to see and believe is you, right? You're really going to make an assumption and label that person as good, are you? Really? That's stupidity at its finest. I'm going to tell you again, you are stupid if you do that. There's no other way out. You are stupid. And as adults in our 30s and 40s, this bullshit has to stop. What are you teaching your children? That you fall in love with people on the internet, right? The place where you probably tell your children to be safe and pay attention. And yet you are falling in love and having affection and emotional bonds to people that you barely know because they showed you a side of themselves that you liked the idea of. The internet and people's channels, you're being sold an idea of something. You're not being sold anything real. Whatever we've all got on our channels, you're being sold an idea, okay? And you buy into those ideas wrongly. You use the internet as though you're watching TV, and you're not watching TV, all right? People don't know that on the internet they need to come here with boundaries, intelligence and logic, okay? Because there's a lot of manipulation that goes on daily for all kinds of different reasons, because manipulators want all kinds of different things. This isn't like, we've got such naive people that treat YouTube like it's your TV, like it's reality TV, but this is better because we can get to touch through the screen the person that we're watching, because we can leave them comments, say mean things, interact with them, laugh with them, have fun with them, get to know them, share our time with them while we're sat in our house doing nothing and we've got our favourite YouTuber on. You feel like they're becoming a friend, right? we form these parasocial relationships, and somebody on my channel a bit ago had deemed them parasocial buds, and it's a worthy term. Parasocial buds is what we're making. We're not necessarily making friends, right? A friend is something that you make. A friendship is something that you make long term. It's a long term process. It's not an instant thing, okay? You can form connections with people, alliances with people, but friendships, we're not making friendships. Those take time. I'm not saying people haven't made friends on there, but a healthy friendship takes time over the span of minimum a year. So this guy and this,
my future is just gonna go with being
I can
real.
full well imagine how many people are messaging this guy how much they love him. Oh, I'm so sorry about Jared, because as soon as they hear about Jared, from the logical brain right into the emotional brain, drop all boundaries, drop your guard. We need to go and tell this guy now that we love him, right? We need to bolster him up. Do none of you ever ask the question, right, when you see someone upset on YouTube, on the channel, do you not ever question, why do they need 300 people in the chat to tell them that everything's going to be all right, or that they support him? Do you not ever find that fucking weird, right? I try to imagine myself crying and 300 people in a stream telling me, Sonia, it's all right, you're all right. Sonia, we're here for you. Sonia, it's all right, it's all right. That is some messed up shit, that I can't handle that kind of shit. It is just fucking weird. It is just weird. Why the hell do you need 300 people, 200 people, even 100 people? Why do you need that many people to tell you or to comfort you? Right? Comfort yourself. Comfort yourself. The more validation you need from other people, the more you'll always need, all right? Because it's something that it never suffices. It never fills you up. That's why you see narcissists constantly acting crazy, because they can never get enough of the stuff. Never, right? Once you start needing outside validation to calibrate your sense of self, okay, you're always going to need it. Calibrate and validate yourself. You don't need all these random strangers to tell you. They don't even know you, and they're telling you how great you are. They don't even know you. So if he's saying all these people are saying that they love him, there's nowhere in his mind, and he believes it, right? He believes it. Well, a narcissistic personality would believe it and they'd love it, all right? I wouldn't find any of that authentic. All these strangers saying, oh, like, have they even asked him, did he know? Because in those emails, Jared clearly states that everybody at AWP knows that he was abusing minors, apparently, allegedly, okay? That's what it says in those emails, and hopefully right about now, one's coming on the screen. So what's this guy on? You might think this reaction is harsh. Maybe it is. I'm open to being told it's harsh, okay? Maybe I'm too triggered. Maybe I'm in my emotional brain just a tad here with the subject matter. But what's he on about? All these people are telling me how much they love me. Who the fuck cares? Where's your rage? Where's your anger? And where is your disgust at finding out your best friend for life, your work colleague, your boss, right? The person that pays your wages, that ensures that you can make ends meet to keep your family going. Where is your horror and aghast at what has just been outed? Where is it? What's with this calm? Why is he more calm than me and he knows him? Why? Are you telling me that's because of a contract? I don't think so. I don't think so.
To follow the passion that I've developed with helping people, with, telling somebody's story. I come from the towing industry, and
these personality types love to tell people sad stories and be the hero to the stories, and that's all I'm picking up. I'm sorry. I am sorry.
Now, I pull cars out underwater, helping families get answers.
We know what you do. Why is he telling us what he does when we know? Right? We've just found out Jared was a pedophile. He's a pedophile. He's a freak, an SA offender, allegedly. He's got caught this month, 2 counts of rape. Why is he telling us that he goes and rescues cars from underwater and finds missing people? How do the two collaborate together? How do they come to... What are you on about, Doug?
Fortunate that I've developed that passion, and this has happened. It doesn't align with what I believe in. I have daughters, I'm a father, and I come from a real rough background.
Where's your passion for that, then? Where's his passion for the fact that he's got 2 daughters and he's a father? Does this guy have another speed other than fucking neutral?
And I've changed my life. I've become a really good man. And I've always followed the code. And the code has been violated.
So what are you going to do?
With that being said, you know, there's a lot of legal things that have to play out. And they got to play out, you know? But it doesn't involve me. It doesn't involve my name.
Distancing himself. All right, I'm going to remind you all what I do for a living. I pull cars out. I love being a voice for the voiceless. Everybody's been telling me that they love me. All right. I have a passion for telling people's stories. Do you? You have a passion for telling people's heartbreaking stories? Whatever.
Doesn't involve anybody else's name that's been associated with it.
Well, I'm sorry to tell you that your friend says that you knew. So it does involve you. You need to clear yourself. Did you know? Did you not? Why isn't that? Have you read the emails, Doug? Do you know what's going on here? Do you know? Are you up to speed? Because you don't sound like you are. You sound like you're talking about your friend's had an accident and things in the business are going to change. Let's continue.
You know, because we've worked with a lot of people intimately. And
yeah, that's why we're all up in arms.
That are hurting right now. I'm just as heartbroken. I care a lot about what it is that I've been able to do.
You care about what it is that you've been able to do? What? You didn't believe me about Jared. You won't believe me about this guy. All right? Narky AF. Opinion. All right. It's an opinion.
And
there is no empathy here. There is no... Where does he say in his contract that he can't say that my heart goes out to these people that have come forward? We still haven't heard that yet. To the victims. The heroes, actually. The heroes. Okay. And while we're talking about this, the bravery it took for that girl is unquestionable, because I still haven't been to the police station. All right? I've tried reporting it to the NSPCC, which is the National Society for the Protection of Children. That was in my 20s. And I just felt so invalidated and fucked off that I just was just like, whatever. And now I'm at a point in my life where to do something like that, you need an intense amount of support around you, because when you go back and revisit those types of things, which you have to do when you go and report it, you relive it again. All right, now already you have the memories that resurface as and when they decide they want to. Okay, and people just be like, just leave it in the past, just forget about it. Listen, to those wankers that ever say that, okay, try and forget your most memorable memory and delete it from your brain. Try and do it. And if it works, let me know. All right? Let me know. You don't get to decide when memories are triggered or emotional flashbacks are triggered, or you're having a day where you just feel so, what's the word? Debilitated. You can't get out of your pajamas. You don't want to wash. You don't want to go outside. You don't even want to go to the shop. You don't want to eat or drink. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of those days that happen to you after you have been through an experience as horrific as this. And while you can't compare what is abuse, SA abuse is worse to another, right? There is a spectrum, okay? And what that girl so far has described she endured, right? For me, her experience was even more horrific, heinous and terrifying than mine. And I know I can't say the words out loud to somebody like a police officer and be able to stay within my own body while I do it. I have to disassociate. So for her to come forward is... And against this kind of a monster that's like literally taken over the social media world as some kind of fucking raving hero, right? Captain Save the World is just like fucking unmeasurable. It's unmeasurable. And to see this lack of emotion towards any of the victims, does it say any, what? Does it say? And if you read that guy, he has preemptively tried to, and this is how calculated he is. He ain't no narc. You're minimizing him, calling him a narc. All right, this ain't no narc. He's narcissistic, but he's not no narc. He preemptively has tried to change the version of the story of the events, right, and smooth it over and gaslight her, so that later, okay, he's already reframed it, right? He's already reframed it and he's rewrote history. He's revised the whole thing. And then when he said to her, oh, well, you know, all AWP know, right? At that point in those emails, that guy was scared when he said that, okay? He was terrified. So if she ever does see this video, right, just know this. When he was writing that back to you, he was fucking terrified. That was his last calculated attempt, right, to get in your head and have you think he had, in a premeditated fashion, told everybody already, nobody really gave a shit, right, to again invalidate you and to push you back down for another 10 years so you wouldn't out him. That was his last attempt to gaslight you and abuse you psychologically. That's what that was in there, okay? Because perhaps these lot don't know. I do find it, for me, how I have him profiled in my brain is very controlling. So I would be surprised if anybody else did have access to those emails. I would be surprised, even though he says they did and they're not filtered and all that bullshit. I would be very surprised to find out if everybody else did have access to those emails. I don't think they did. I think that in there was his last ditched attempt to shut her down and make her go away, all right? Because she's messaging his business at this point. And this girl isn't going away. She's like a tide. She keeps coming back and coming back, right? And he keeps trying to get rid of her. And so far, right, it's worked. And she's kept on and kept on and kept being pushed back out to sea, pushed back out to sea. No, you're out there in all of that darkness on your own. Nobody believes you. Nobody cares. It never happened. You're remembering it wrong. You're being over the top, blah, 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 blah. And everyone's continuing to cover this guy, coddle him, protect him, shield him from all this sick fucking shit. And now she's exposed a monster, and a huge, prolific monster he is. Because if anybody, allegedly, believes that this shit stopped, right? Because when I first read her emails, my first thought was his siblings. Because this ain't just started with the cousin. Him being so confident to go into that room, bathroom, whichever, the first one she detailed, and do that so coldly as she explained it, right? And proficiently for that age. That had been going on even before the other stuff came out. You could tell by what she was saying and the way describing him. You could tell, wow, that weren't his first time to do that. Okay, he's a sick, prolific monster. As far as I'm concerned, he's up there with Epstein. All right, even if there were only two of them, he's still up there with him because the what's the word? The scope that this guy, the potential that this guy had. There's just no way there's those two. And the covering up that's gone on within the families, oh my God. That again to me was triggering because it was reminiscent of my own. And she's fought against that and pushed through it, which I'm no contact from all of mine because they all normalise. God, it's just so freaky, right? Knowing that your parent trafficked you to a predator and everybody else in the family treats you like you're the freak or the nut job or you're the one that's being weird all the time, okay? It is just, I can't even tell you how psychologically damaging that is because even though you're an adult, you're not going to go and talk to somebody about something like that. Who'd you talk to about? What would any of you do on the internet that know me and that have known me a long time? What would you do if I pulled you to the side and tried to have a conversation with you about that to get some advice? You'd look at me like I was mental and you'd be like, why are you sharing all this with me? I don't want to know. Like, keep your distance kind of thing. Who do you talk to about these things? Nobody. There isn't anybody. So this girl, when they're calling her a hero, she is a hero. She's inspiring and fucking good for her. Good for her. Because the shit she's gone through, I can only imagine. I only know what it's been like in my family. right? To have that stuff minimised and denied. And I remember properly this time, properly trying to tell her, because all the other times I felt like the time I told her definitively, blatantly, where there'd be no way for her to say, oh, I didn't understand what you mean. Oh, well, that doesn't sound that bad. Well, did he do this? Did he do that? Well, then what's wrong, right? Those kinds of reactions. She was eating a sandwich and she said, right, well, tell me what you want to talk about. And I was like, you're eating. And this is going to be a dark subject. And she was like, right, well, go on. So I was like, oh, okay, no, I don't know how to say this now. I don't know how to say this. And as I did say this, she carried on eating her sandwich while I was telling her that at 9 years old, what had happened to me. She carried on eating a sandwich and she finished a sandwich. And then she went and rang my sister and stayed on the phone to her for 4 hours. It was just so surreal. And that's what these kinds of narcissistic monsters are like. When you say gaslighting on YouTube, you've no idea what gaslighting is. None. Gaslighting is simply lying. If somebody's lying, they're lying, right? Gaslighting is lying. It's just layers and layers and layers of lies. Pathological lies. Pathological lies. Where they're doing anything and everything to deny that the truth is the truth. And that girl, when they say hero, put it with a capital H, because hero she is. Back to this one, who isn't a hero in my book. I don't care how many cars he's rescued or found.
My future's bright.
Smiling.
I'll always be okay. My family's
What?
Gonna, where this goes, I don't know. I don't know where this goes. My future's bright. I'm gonna always
He's
be
smiling.
Okay.
He's like this.
Gonna be okay.
My future's bright.
And,
I'm gonna be okay.
I kept
What?
it real, you know.
He's already looking for his future when we've just found out 2 girls have been SA'd from his best friend, work colleague, boss, and the owner of the company that he's a part of. You know, my future's fine. I'm going to be all right. I'm going to be all right. What? How have you got to there when we're still here, pal? Skipping over it. All right, skipping over it.
And unfortunately, you know, that doesn't align with my future. It doesn't align with me at all. None of us. You know what I mean? None of us knew any of this.
What?
I have to defend my family. I have to defend myself. And unfortunately, you know, that doesn't align with my future. It doesn't align with me at all. None of us. You know what I mean? None of us.
What doesn't align with you?
And
none of them knew about this, he said.
I am just as shocked as everybody else.
He's just as shocked as everybody else.
It's really unfortunate and heartbreaking.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate and heartbreaking. Out of the entire English language, the 2 words he finds to describe this horror, this shock, this horrific, heinous shit coming to light, unfortunate and what? What? It's unfortunate.
Everybody else.
It's fortunate. Fortunately, we now know this guy is a monster, you tool. Fortunately, this has come out. Not unfortunately. Listen to these people's words, will you? Instead of just fucking going off the surface. I'm rewinding that back.
With me at all. None of us. You know what I mean? None of us knew any of this. And I am just as shocked as everybody else. It's really unfortunate and heartbreaking. Yeah, man. Me. People that know me, you guys know I'm a survivor.
The news of this coming out is fortunately. We are fortunate to know about this now. All right. There's no it's heartbreaking. I agree with him there. It is heartbreaking, but there's no unfortunately as far as I'm concerned. All right. You can't even say, unfortunately, this happened. That isn't even a sentence you could even dare say to anybody that had suffered SA. Oh, it was so unfortunate. I'd punch someone in the fucking face if someone said that to me. Oh, how unfortunate for you. What the fuck?
And
what
you know,
the fuck?
I got nothing to hide. I'm not going to hide nothing. It's what it is.
It is what it is. Oh my God. We've just found out someone, at least for now, was a past rapist of a 9-year-old fucking child, all right, at 17 years old. It's unfortunate and heartbreaking. Okay, but I know people still love me, and I've had loads of people tell me, and I love being a voice for the voiceless, and I'm under contract, and I can't say this, and I can't say that. What the fuck is this shit? And you lot, I have no doubt, will be buying into every goddamn word of it. Well, do you know what? When it's found out that he's narky as fuck, all right, and that he's just living for profit out of this business, you deserve to lose every last penny, every single one of you, because I am sick to death of having empathy for people that don't fucking use boundaries, right, and pay attention to the character and the words that people are using. No sympathy.
Be positive, you know?
Be positive. We've just found out there's a monster in our midst. All of my community, I know for a fact, are shocked and horrified. They paid money. The people in the true crime community paid money to subscribe to your fucking freak you call a bloody boss. And they paid all that money for the release of that video after sending someone down to see the remains of Kylie Rodney, a 16-year-old kid. Makes fucking sense now to me, even though it never made sense at the time, right? Because what kind of sociopath would want any kind of kid's remains on any kind of fucking video that they were going to publish on fucking YouTube, all right? Who would, unless you're a fucking sociopath, right? That was another huge, massive red warning sign of a flag. And now this guy...
You know, they're just not going to hide nothing. Is what it is.
This guy.
Be positive, you know, moving forward. You know,
be positive moving forward. Already, he's talking about moving forward. This is what they do, though. Narcissistic people, right? They jump over it to the other side. And I'm going to ruin this by saying it right, because we help them evolve by spotting their mistakes and telling them all about their mistakes, and then they evolve and stop making those mistakes and get even harder and smarter to spot, all right? And smarter about being spotted. But this is called empathy. This is what cold empathy looks like right here in this video. Go and watch it. Get acquainted with it. Cold empathy.
People out there that have a story to tell.
Yeah, you go back to tell your stories then. Do you know what? I ain't even watching the rest of it. I think I've made it perfectly, abundantly clear how I feel about that guy, that video, and that reaction to the news that Jared from AWP has been doing just beyond sick shit in his past up to God knows what point, and profiting off it, all right? Profiting off this hero act of playing the good guy. Like everything I've ever said about a predator, he ticks every box. They find a vulnerable community of sorts, something or somebody with a vulnerability, okay? They monopolize it and exploit it to their benefit and their gain while presenting to people, we're here to help. That's what they do. So the next time you are looking for a monster, people, stop looking for a monster. Look for somebody look just like you. Look for somebody dressed just like you. They come as the pillar of your community. That's what they'll look like. The pillar of your community. The pastor, okay? The man that's always in church or the mosque. The person trying to raise money for a hospital. I could go on. Around animals, I'm trying to rescue and help animals. I adopt and foster loads of children. Whatever it is they're exploiting, okay? Their outside public mask, just as Jared's has been, will be just perfect, all right? And perfect isn't reality, because none of us are perfect. We're all pretty much fucked up in our own way, okay? But this type of fucked up, okay, doesn't belong in society. The type of fucked up that guy is does not belong in society. As far as I'm concerned, dead pedophile, can't reoffend. And I know loads and many people share that same sentiment. I don't know what I've even learned from this reaction other than, if you want to take my advice, pull away from there. You want to support somebody, you get over to Sam the Adventure Man. I did a video on him. We went over the behaviours of Jared, okay, where we knew back then in my video, that this guy was one to watch. He was definitely some kind of cluster B personality. And you know what? It's all come to fruition, hasn't it? Not what, 2 months later? Not 2 months later. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. But I tried to warn people. I think I did 2 videos, okay, on AWP, talking about AWP and how I felt about them, and the same with Upchurch, and people are just like, yeah, you just want to be a bitch. What do you know about narcissism? You're not a psychiatrist. Well, when we've got psychiatrists and psychologists marrying narcissists, okay, and making the same mistakes I have, and they've got all that education, I think I can talk about narcissists, all right? I can talk about what I've experienced, I can talk about what I've researched, and I can talk about what I've learned, as long as it's an opinion, and that's exactly what I do. The red flags are there, the traits are there, the behaviours are there, if you care to look. My eyes are no better than yours, all right? They're there, the signs are there, if you look. Love does not make us blind, all right? The love everybody had for Jared did not make them blind. They chose to be blind. There is such a thing as loving someone with your eyes open, and that is what I want to encourage all of you to do. And until next time, okay, love lots. Please like my video, and please leave me a comment. Share your thoughts. If you think I'm out of order, you bloody well tell me you think I'm out of order, okay? If you think my reaction is too much, too over the top, let me know in the comments below, and I will catch you all in the next video. Love lots. Bye for now.